What can you give your athletes to do when they're at home? When they want to get better? Because, especially distance runners, when people just start doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff. So you always have the parent who wants to work out with your, the parent who wants to work out with your athlete and they're going to do stuff. You have the dads that they played back then and this is how he did it, this is what you need to be doing. Or they send them to trainers and stuff like that because they don't feel like enough work is getting done. You know all the different scenarios when parents start getting involved because all of a sudden dad, especially in these neighborhoods here, become experts just because they're dad. And then we bombard them with hard work. And I'm not against hard work or anything like that, but some people get that Dan Gable thing where while you're resting, your opponent's working, that kind of mentality. And you will have kids that go out and do all kinds of crazy different stuff. I had a kid that was part of my football thing at Hinsdale Central, and I would go to Lifetime Fitness, and there he was working out, doing a lot more stuff than I really needed him to do. And then he wondered why things weren't working his way. And like, why didn't my bench press go up? Well, JL designed your bench press program. He's pretty good at bench pressing. And then I saw you at Lifetime doing all this different stuff. What are you doing there? Well, I just felt like I wanted to do more work. Or he started getting into CrossFit, which to me is, if you love it, I apologize, but it's just crazy. I mean, the stuff that they have people do. Now there's CrossFit gyms and they have Olympic lifting coaches. Well, why? Why? And then jump till you puke, 20 box jumps, more volume than you could possibly ever imagine doing from a plyometric standpoint. And then you've got the friends that are always helping you to go work out with your friends. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just sometimes it's not great. Like last year, I think I shared this story. No. Where there were guys on the football thing, and I worked with this one kid to get his start down, and then his friend came one morning, first day there, and he saw a YouTube clip that had a lot of hits, and it was teaching you how to do a start. And I actually filmed it. Couldn't believe it. I'm actually filming it. And here's what his friend had him do based on the 1.2 million hits on YouTube. His left leg was forward, and his left arm was forward. And this is how he was starting. And I thought, I actually said to him, what have we been working on? Yeah, but this kid said on YouTube, this has got a lot of hits, and this is what we're working on now. And I said, yeah, okay, I'm done. I give up. $50 box jumps on a 24-inch box. 50 jumping pull-ups, walking lunges, all 50 burpees. And then we're going to scale it up or down or whatever way you want to go. And this versus some of these are some middle-aged adults. I never do box jumps on anything higher than 18 inches myself, and we never do more than 20 jumps. Those are some pretty good athletes. It's a thing. I want to see the video where it goes wrong. That ball will take off like a bat out of hell. Because they couldn't find any other uses for the iron ball that they bought, and nobody liked lifting it up, this guy decided I'm going to do a pistol squat with some weight over my head off the iron ball. That's right. He's rocking it. He's rocking it. But that's what we get. And so when I have people come and they do assessments with me, this is kind of the path that I start everyone at. And it all starts with the foot. That is LeBron James's left foot. He's got toe that's kind of created itself, and then this one goes under. But when he presses down, I guess that it all goes flat. But look what he has done at the bottom of his foot to compensate for the fact that his toes don't descend and his feet are constantly in this clawed position. It's all created a giant fat pad, and that has become what he presses from. His toes can't do much. So again, proof that you can be a great athlete, not have great feet, but for the most part, that's not true. So some of the stuff you guys may have seen before, but we will get to the new good stuff, but we're going to all do this together. So this is kind of how we're going to do it so you can feel a thing. We're going to start very basic, because this is what I start with everyone. I will lead here, and I will take my shoes off first. You don't have to play if you don't want, but if you can do it and feel it, it will go better. So we're going to stand 2 feet. The outside of your head should be the outside of your hips. Your tripod of your foot are the ball of your big toe, the ball of your pinky toe, and your heel. In a standing position, you should be able to find that and not be cocked off one way or the other. And you have to pull your toes up off the ground. If you have people who have the clawed toes, they're clawing to be the part of your tripod. But when you claw, and you're trying to grab, you'll see that you lose the arch on the inside. So we need to be able to find neutral. And so I tell my athletes, if you're just standing there, practice finding if you're standing in line, work out. Practice finding your tripod. Shuffle around a little bit and see if you naturally come back to your tripod. So during the break, someone asked about shoes. You should have a pair of shoes that you can naturally find your tripod on and you don't feel like the shoe is pushing you in another way. That's the very basic for a shoe. But what shoes do is help you walk, which means you're on one leg. In fact, all of sports is played on one leg. For most of sport, I'll take that back. So can you shift over and find your tripod on one leg? No toes on the floor, ladies and gentlemen. No toes on the floor. You should be able to find that. And again, you're going to get a little variance in moving back and forth. But ideally, you can find that position. Then you can shift them, and did I go naturally to that tripod? A good pair of shoes will make you balance better on one leg. So if you've got on Nike Freeze, they're going to want to kick you over to the side. And all of a sudden, I've lost my tripod. Here's the crazy part now. Find your better foot. Stand on your better foot and close your eyes. No toes. I have now taken away your horizon, and what you have going on right now is what your foot actually does when you hit the ground. So earlier someone asked about arm swing. And my kids' arms are all over the place. Chances are when you go through this test, you will have people doing some kind of hula dance where they're trying to find that foot. Like I see some people doing here. But that's okay. We're going to work on getting it better. Now, you can open your eyes. Can I do an ankle rocker squat on that one leg with my toes up? So I'm going to push my knee over my second toe. If you are twisting and turning, it's not good, but I'm going to show you your cheats here in a second. When the shoe truck comes to your school, like here to be Dick Pond shows up and they've got their truck, you will have all of your kids stand in a pair of shoes and do a single leg squat, and they will find the pair of shoes that allows them to do an ankle rocker squat without moving around and all the dancing. chances are if you have shin splint problems, they've got bad shoes. Most of your lower leg injuries come from a bad pair of shoes. And kids will say, look, my parents got me my training shoes. Don't these look nice, coach? I passed your test, and these were the best pair. But then you say, that's great, but in school you're still wearing Nike Frees, so the thousands of steps you're taking throughout the day is overriding the hundreds that you're taking in a good pair of shoes. Now, to finish it, the whole gait cycle. I'm here, I squat down, and can I drive up onto my big toe? You should come straight over the top. And we're going to have some slides here to show it in a minute. That is perfect gait. So if you are trying to outdo all of the bad steps, this is a great thing that your athletes can do all the time. At Montini in York, we used to start every practice. The very first thing we did after RPR is we did ankle rocker squats. Just so I know they did some to work on that throughout the day. Because the better my foot works, the better I'm going to run. Because if you are kicking off to the side, this is what you look like. That foot's going to start to drift across, and you've got to throw that arm out in front further, and now my arms aren't drivers anymore, they're rudders. They're for steering. The better my foot works, the more stuff I can do with my hands. So if you are a field sport athlete where you have to use your hands, I have a harder time catching, punching, using a stick because I've limited my guiders. So girls blowing their ACL and cross is fairly common. They can't guide with their arms because their arms are locked down with the stick, especially if you've got the ball and you've got to flick it back and forth, whatever the hell they do with that thing. But when they go to press, they're going to go to the outside of that foot. And that's where they blow their knees. In fact, if you want to take it one step further with the field sport athletes, what do they do when they have on their spikes? Or track athlete, what do they do when they have their spikes on? If you've got a pair of spikes that aren't working for you, they are still going to push you off to the side. What I did last year with my track team is I watched them kind of do a walk type thing, and I put different size spikes in different parts of their shoe based on where I saw their contact coming. We are obsessed with being even. We're always looking for a horizon, so it's very natural for us to say, well, it's not even on the bottom of your shoe, so we're going to put all even spikes in. But my foot is shaped this way. Yeah, I guess you're right. But hey, let's make them even anyway. They sell them in the package. The shoe company would know better. Otherwise, they wouldn't package them for us. 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch? Which ones? Spikes are the same way. Cleats are the same way. Cleats are the worst because they always push people to the outside, especially if the spike on the bottom of the shoe is in the wrong place. Ideally, I'm foot, okay? That cleat is going to be right behind the ball of your big toe. If it is in front, that becomes a break. Because when I'm running and I'm going to put that foot on the ground, that hits early. And now instead of pushing down, I've got to skid. My body has to find where it's going before I can anchor it and push again. So, get out your file. File off the spikes until they can find that perfect position. They don't have to be even. For my curve runners in the 4x1, we have longer spikes on the outside and short spikes on the inside, and we have no spikes on the outside of your left foot. Because I'm curving here, right? I want that outside to hit and give me more traction, but I don't want it to hit early on that front foot because the track's got enough of a turn. You don't have to go too far, but I jimmy everything up to the side for my 1 and my 3, just so I get better traction. And I don't hit early. Because if that spike grabs even a little bit early, that's going to cause the shoulder to come forward, and now I'm guiding rather than driving. So you can change your surfaces. And it's going to be a different exercise. because you have to find that tripod. There are people who believe, and I am one of them, that your body will only push when it finds a tripod. So if you can't find that tripod, I'm not going to push off that foot. How many people have seen the person with one long stride, short stride, long stride, short stride, long stride, short? Go ahead and have them go through and see what happens when you have them move just in those single leg squats. There are people, I am not one of them, but I would like to do this, I just can't find the right ones, that put rocks all over the place, small ones, small Great Lakes rocks, that's what they call them at the spas. So you don't put holes in your feet, but just practice standing on different things and finding that ankle rocker and that pure foot function. If you go to Cal's, he has a room where there's just rocks all over the floor, and if you don't know what you're doing, go, that dude's got rocks all over the floor. Where do you get all those? Someone spilled the pebbles? No, they're doing all their walks on them. At University of Texas, Matt Van Dyke has different densities on all their mats in their running area. So every time you step onto a different mat, your body has to think, what the hell is that? I need to tighten up because I don't know what's happening here. It's brilliant. He didn't come up with the idea. Carmelo Bosch came up with it. He just stole it. So you're going to have kids that say, Coach, this is easy. I can do this all day. No, you can't. You will see the same thing happen in the ankle rocker squat as you do when they run, because your body thinks it's gait. Is their heel in the middle part of their body, or is it underneath the proper shoulder? If it's drifting, they don't have the hip strength to hold that leg in place. So, you want to keep that hip high. So that is a cheat. Coach, I think I'm doing it right. How about now? We use walls. Because you will find some people, and these are great kids, they're your hardest workers, they're going to do exactly what you tell them to do. Johnny, you got to go deeper. All right, I am going deeper. Their horizon has changed, and they think that they are going deeper. But what is happening is not really what's happening. So you can open up the door, because everyone's got doors at their house, and you're going to put your foot about 3 or 4 inches behind, and you're going to make your knee touch the door. And if they try to bow, which a lot of kids do, how many people have seen this in the squat rack? Got to go deeper. There, that was deeper, Coach. No, no good. Come on. That was really deep that time. Now it's a back exercise. If I try to bow, instead of gaining depth with my ankle, I hit my head on the door. That's a natural cue, hitting your head. Or go sideways. 3 inches. If my hip bails, I hit the door. So I'm trying to keep that piston-like position. Hold that hip in place and go through. You can put your shoulder in front and slide up and down the door.